Hey guys, Kitty here. Sorry I haven't done a video in a long time. Been busy with school and everything. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about this news regarding to Last of Us getting a remake, and sort of kind of like a Sony rant because there's a lot of things that I've been really not liking what Sony's been doing lately, and we're gonna discuss it. So prior to Last of Us getting this remake, um, so Sony lately has been like completely out of touch, especially with what's going on with their library games. So obviously, I know a lot of you guys already have known that Sony, I guess, is shutting down the servers for the online for PSP, PS3, and Vita. So all the games that you could buy on PlayStation Store, they're getting rid of all the servers, so you won't be able to buy any games on there, which I think is kind of stupid because um, you can buy a lot of the original games, especially when they're not doing backwards compatibility. I guess they're anti-backwards for some reason. And that's another thing I want to bring up too that I don't really, which I don't understand why Sony's doing this, is the fact that they don't want to preserve gaming history, especially with some of their older games. You know, like I understand, like yeah, there's PlayStation Now and there's everything, but like who uses PlayStation Now? Like I don't know anybody that uses PlayStation Now or have said that they use it and it's like a great service to play original games. Like who does? Like I don't know anybody that does. A lot of people go and they have their older games and they play them on like when they make videos about them. So I honestly I don't get why Sony wants to do that. And the other thing I don't understand is that they want to get rid of the games on their other like platforms like PS3, Vita, and everything. When okay, obviously there's people that are going to be playing these games, but if they just did backwards compatibility, like they did with like back with like PS2 and PS1, and what they were supposed to do with PS3 and PS4, then you would have had your games on those systems. I mean, hell, like PS4 could have made a lot more money if it actually put it back as compatibility, but they won't do that. Like Xbox right now, like Microsoft. I usually don't like talking about Xbox. I'm not the biggest Xbox fan, but I'll give them credit that they know how to really preserve history. They know that backwards compatibility is what everybody wants. They want to play some of their own games. That's why Game Pass was so popular. Right? That's why a lot of people love buying into their Game Pass subscription because they like bringing in all the other older games. So like you could play 360 games and original Xbox games on Game Pass, and they're doing the same thing for the new Series X, or as I like to call the Xbox Fridge. Like they're doing that where Sony isn't doing that with PS5 or hell, they didn't even do it with PS4. So it just kind of makes you wonder, like, what the fuck is Sony doing? Like, that's what I can't wrap my head around is why the hell is Sony doing this shit? Like, and the other thing that doesn't help is obviously it really has something to do with the fact that the people at Sony, like the new CEO they got, I think Jim Ryan. Personally, Jim Ryan don't give two fucks about video games. He doesn't. He obviously is one of those guys that really I think only wants Sony to go Hollywood, and that's it. He's just more concerned about selling a system and bringing it out there to the market. Obviously, because they're corporations, right? Which I know people are going to say, yeah, that's how they are. But at the same time, other people that went at Sony, like you look at Sean Lennon. Sean Lennon, okay, yeah, people don't like Sean Lennon. People could bitch about him, whatever, but at least he knew really where games were going. Like he had confidence in remasters and everything. Where this guy don't give two fucks. This guy I don't think really is really in the business to really sell video games. Like I think he's more interested in like he's interested in selling video games, but he's also more focused on making them into big blockbusters, which I'm okay with. But judging how video games have always gotten a bad rap for live action films, just like anime, um, they don't turn out well, right? I mean, we've had Detective Pikachu do really well. We had Sonic that did really well, and then hopefully Mortal Kombat when it comes out, it's probably going to be really good. Who knows? But all I can say is that video games, like for the longest time in many of its history, have been the shit. So it's like nobody really has any confidence in really how these live action movies are going to go for Sony. And the other thing is, I understand why they're making this remake. Now, I'm pretty upset at the idea that they're doing a remake of Last of Us because why? Why do we need a Last of Us remake? Like Last of Us, the first game is not even that old. It really isn't. It's got to be at least 7 or 8 years old. It's not that old of a game. And when PS4 came out, when they were remastering it, they just ported it. That's all they did. They didn't really do very much with it. Like they could do the same thing. Like if they really wanted to remake it, they could just give it the same thing that they did with the remaster version. They just port it onto PS5, tweak the graphics, and then there you go. I mean, the other thing too is Part 2 just came out. So why all of a sudden are we getting a remake of Last of Us? But I understand why they're doing it because of the HBO series that's coming out. So again, they're trying to more focus on pleasing Hollywood and the blockbusters and the SJWs instead of instead of actually bringing out a game that everybody wants. Because really, nobody wants a remaster of Last of Us or a remake, sorry, of Last of Us. Nobody does, myself included, because there's no need to. You could just bring out a port and then there you go. There's no sense in bringing out another remake of it. Like if they wanted to remake Jack and Daxter, like if Naughty Dog wanted to remaster Jack and Daxter, I'd be on board with that because Jack and Daxter it's been a long time since that series even came out, and I'm sure a lot of people would love to see Jack and Daxter come back on PS4 and PS5, right? Like I honestly think a lot of people want that because I know a lot of people for years wanted that series to come back, and you know that's why if they had to pick between what series they could do, it would be Jack and Daxter for sure. Uncharted. Some people said that Uncharted could get a remake. I don't know. I mean, like, it's kind of the same thing with this. Like, they already did that with the collection, where they've kind of it gave it the remaster the remaster thing. So like, it wouldn't really do anything to be honest with you, because all they would do is just port it. They would port the first three games and put it on PS5, and they've done that. Like, it's on PS5. You can simply play the Nathan Drake collection, and then there you go. So at the end of the day, there's really no other thing that you could do. But the other thing too is I don't. I mean, the problem I have with Sony is like, not only are they going through the Hollywood route, they're also being anti-consumer, and they're also not preserving game history. And obviously people could say, yeah, but Nintendo does the same thing. I agree. Nintendo does the same thing too. I mean, look at their online. That's why I will never pay for their online, because what does the online have? All it is okay. You get NES games, you get Super Nintendo games. Okay, but there's not that many, and you could bring out other games that have come out. Like that's why the eShop on Wii U were so popular, because they brought back all their games that were like that had their history. Like they had N64 games, they had Game Boy games, they had DS games. Like they had a bunch of games that came out from their past history of games. And now they're not doing that. They're doing just NES and Super Nintendo, and that's not how you're gonna get people to play the online. And especially when the online service from a lot of people, because I know a lot of people that don't even like their online service, and I just that's why I can't support it. But on the other hand, it just seems like these companies like Sony and Nintendo, they don't want to preserve that, and it's like why? Like you could have all these games come out on your service. Like you could have it on there, you could have it on the systems or anything, but no, they're more focused on just you know more into the modern era, and they're more focused on just Hollywood and shit, and that's why I think Sony is not going in a good direction. And I really think if Sony really wants to do really well, because I mean PS5 right now, nobody can't get a PS5 right now, and that's the other thing. Like I really think they could have waited to release PS5 until like maybe after COVID was done. But obviously they did it because of stocks, because the stock market right now is horrible. But again, that's another story. But honestly, I think Sony just needs to find. They need to find a better direction. They need to get some new guys in. They need to get a new CEO because Jim Ryan, he don't give a fuck about what's going on with Sony. He don't give a fuck about video games and consumers and shit like that. Um, but anyway, man, tell me what you guys' thoughts on this. I really would like to know on the comment section below. I'll see you guys next video. Take care.